If you were coming across someone that didn't know anything about this and they wanted to know how to respect the plant, respect the craft, respect ceremony, how would you have the conversation with them?
It would be a long conversation. And I would want to remind them that the basis is all of like them respecting themselves. Like I said, a big part of the psychedelic experience is this experience of oneness. I am you and you are me and I am that tree and that tree is me. And again, in like a very literal way of understanding that we're all made of the same stuff. Like we are all carbon and we all came from the same stuff. We are not more evolved than trees. We are differently evolved than trees. We took a different route. And so when it comes to the respect thing, I think a lot of people think of it as, an extension of like nicety or like an extension of like them being a good person. When really I think of it as an extension of that healing process, that it is, not a selfless act. It's really a selfish act to be able to live in harmony and give back and to be reciprocal in your actions. And so I speak a lot about the limit that your healing potential has. If your healing is coming at the price of the earth, or if your healing is coming at the price of certain cultures and the preservation of the tribes that have stewarded these plant medicines for a very long time. Let me be really clear, we would not have access to most of these natural plant medicines if it was not for the protection and stewarding of indigenous people. And so for people to, go in with this very extractivist mindset or entitled mindset that I am entitled to healing, which I believe everyone deserves healing, but there's a certain process that allows that to be a full circle of healing instead of saying I'm over here healing and I'm gonna over harvest this plant so that no one else has any more. I'm not going to give anything back to the indigenous people that allowed me to be here, that gave me the teachings, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, to be able to sit with these plant medicines. And so having a level of respect for the plant and for the earth that the plant came from and for the indigenous peoples that protected this plant is something that I believe to be innate. These plants respect indigenous people because they have cohabitated for so many years. And there's a certain amount of like synchronicity between the wisdom of the plants and the wisdom of indigenous leaders because they evolved together. And so for people to go in blindly or arrogantly thinking that, they don't need to be a part or that, that's someone else's work. Not only is it not productive for the entire like ecosystem of those plants, but it's not nice to yourself. Like it's not respectful to yourself to gyp yourself of that beautiful process of being able to live in reciprocity. And, I think it's really taking away from people's ability to connect with themselves and others not to be in this natural reciprocal process with the plants and the people, even though they are understanding that we are all one, they somehow think that their one is larger.